What if I told you that one of the most important nutrients for living a longer, healthier life has been hiding in plain sight for decades? While the wellness world has been obsessed with omega-3s and the latest superfood trends, scientists have recently discovered that a simple fatty acid, one that's been quietly disappearing from our modern diet, may hold the key to metabolic health and longevity. This is the story of C15:0, also known as pentadecanoic acid. It's an odd-chain saturated fat that your body actually needs to function optimally, yet most people have never even heard of it. Today, we're going to explore why this overlooked nutrient matters, how it works in your body, and what you can do to ensure you're getting enough of it. Let's start with the basics. C15:0 is a saturated fatty acid with 15 carbon atoms in its molecular chain. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, haven't we been told for years that saturated fats are bad for us? This is where the story gets interesting. It turns out that not all saturated fats are created equal, and C15:0 represents a completely different category from the long-chain saturated fats we've been warned about. Here's what makes C15:0 special. It's what scientists call an odd-chain fatty acid, meaning it has an odd number of carbon atoms. Most fats in our diet have even numbers of carbons, like 16 or 18. This odd-chain structure gives C15:0 unique properties that allow it to interact with your cells in remarkably beneficial ways. The truly groundbreaking revelation came in 2020, when researchers at the Navy's Marine Mammal Program noticed something fascinating. The healthiest dolphins weren't the ones eating the most fish, they were the ones with higher levels of C15:0 in their blood. This observation sparked a cascade of research that would eventually lead scientists to propose that C15:0 isn't just beneficial, it's actually an essential nutrient, meaning your body needs it but cannot produce it in sufficient quantities on its own. Now let's dive into the mechanisms. Understanding how C15:0 works will help you appreciate why this nutrient is so crucial for long-term health. First, C15:0 acts as a cell membrane stabilizer. Think of your cell membranes as the walls of your house. Over time, these walls can become brittle and damaged, especially as we age. C15:0 integrates directly into these membranes, strengthening them and making them more resilient. This is particularly important for red blood cells, which need flexible yet sturdy membranes to squeeze through tiny capillaries and deliver oxygen throughout your body. Second, C15:0 is a powerful activator of something called PPAR alpha and PPAR delta receptors. Now, these receptors are like master switches in your cells that control metabolism, inflammation, and how efficiently your mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells, produce energy. When C15:0 activates these receptors, it triggers a cascade of beneficial effects. Your metabolism becomes more efficient, inflammation decreases, and your cells start burning fat more effectively for fuel. Third, C15:0 has remarkable anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic low-grade inflammation is now recognized as one of the primary drivers of aging and age-related diseases, including heart disease, diabetes, and even cognitive decline. Studies have shown that C15:0 can reduce multiple inflammatory markers in the body, essentially turning down the volume on this harmful background inflammation. And here's something that really caught researchers' attention. C15:0 appears to support liver health and function. Your liver is your body's primary detoxification organ, and as we age, liver function often declines. C15:0 helps reduce fat accumulation in the liver and supports the liver's ability to process toxins and metabolize nutrients effectively. So if C15:0 is so important, why aren't we hearing more about it? The answer lies in how dramatically our food supply has changed over the past 50 years. C15:0 is found primarily in dairy fat and certain types of meat, particularly from grass-fed or pasture-raised animals. But here's the problem. As the low-fat diet craze took hold in the 1970s and 80s, we systematically removed these C15:0 rich foods from our diets. We switched to skim milk and low-fat yogurt. We trimmed visible fat from our meat. We were told that dietary fat, especially saturated fat, was the enemy. At the same time, modern industrial farming practices changed the nutritional profile of our food. Animals raised on grain-based feed in confined operations produce meat and dairy with significantly lower levels of C15 to 0 compared to their pasture-raised counterparts. So even when people do consume these foods, they're getting far less C15 to 0 than previous generations did. The result? Population studies now suggest that C15:0 deficiency is widespread, particularly among people who follow low-fat diets or avoid dairy and red meat entirely. And this deficiency appears to correlate with increased rates of metabolic syndrome, fatty liver disease, and other markers of accelerated aging. What makes this particularly frustrating is that while we've been laser-focused on increasing our intake of omega-3 fatty acids, another genuinely important nutrient, we've completely overlooked C15:0. It's not that omega-3s aren't beneficial, they absolutely are. But C15:0 represents a different piece of the nutritional puzzle, one that we've been missing. So what can you do about this? How do you ensure you're getting adequate C15:0 in your diet? The most straightforward approach is through food. Full-fat dairy products from grass-fed cows are excellent sources of C15:0. We're talking about whole milk, full-fat yogurt, butter, and aged cheeses. Just 2 tablespoons of butter from grass-fed cows can provide a meaningful dose of C15:0. Similarly, grass-fed beef and lamb contain higher levels of this nutrient compared to grain-fed alternatives. For those who don't consume dairy or red meat, whether due to dietary restrictions, ethical considerations, or personal preference, supplementation is becoming an option. Several companies have now developed purified C15:0 supplements, typically derived from sustainable plant sources or produced through fermentation. The research suggests that a daily dose of around 100 milligrams may be sufficient to achieve beneficial effects, though the optimal dosing is still being refined through ongoing studies. It's worth noting that C15:0 appears to work synergistically with other nutrients. It's not about taking this one magic supplement and ignoring everything else. Rather, C15:0 should be seen as one important component of a comprehensive approach to nutrition and longevity. You still need adequate protein, plenty of vegetables, sufficient omega-3 fatty acids, and all the other building blocks of good health. The story of C15:0 teaches us an important lesson about nutrition science. Sometimes the most valuable insights come not from discovering something entirely new, but from recognizing the importance of something that's been there all along. For decades, this essential fatty acid was hiding in our food, quietly supporting our health, until modern dietary trends and agricultural practices caused it to fade into the background. The good news is that we now understand what we've been missing, and correcting a C15:0 deficiency is remarkably straightforward. Whether through mindful food choices or targeted supplementation, you have the power to optimize this crucial nutrient and potentially unlock meaningful benefits for your metabolic health and longevity. The future of healthy aging may not be found in exotic supplements or complicated biohacking protocols. Sometimes, it's about rediscovering the simple, essential nutrients that supported human health for generations, nutrients like C15:0.